Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my kind of sort of late review of a Teen Mom 2 Season 10, Episode 16. Let's get on into the foolishness of the girls. Y'all know to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, and all that goodness that I say every single week. You can also check the description box for all of those details. I need to put my hair up, but I ain't got time. Anyway, let's get started. I don't have any pictures because I just didn't feel like putting them out because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But y'all know who her firstborn as Chelsea and everything. You know what I'm saying? Chelsea knocked up. They building their house still. The kids in school still. It's still a pandemic. That was it. Okay, the best part of Chelsea's whole thing was seeing Aubrey get taken to school by Cole because I see how older Aubrey is now. Her voice is all mature, whatever. I'm like, oh, she's in the 5th grade. So it was a cute little thing to see her, like, I'm like, is she a teenager? Can't believe she's that old now, whatever. She's also dropping another piece of clothing for that store she be selling stuff at or whatnot. And they was bringing up how, it's like 6 months of inventory because of COVID, the items were like put on hold, pushed back, and now at that point in time when they can start shipping stuff again, they're getting 6 months worth of items that have to be sold now. I'm like, well, get to selling it when not. Okay, now we have Leah. Seeing it was Addie who was asking Leah for help. I need help with an equation question? What's 7 plus 8? I was like, oh, it's 15, little girl. It's 15 and whatnot. It was just cute. We still see Leah on the phone talking to Jeremy. And, about how the girl doing school, blah, 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 blah. She then brings up how she wants to get trained in order to carry some nasal spray. The name I can't remember. But it counteracts an overdose, okay? And so she wants to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. She says that then people will know she has it and she can save a life. And I'm like, so will random drug addicts come and say, hey, Leah, I need you to help me because I'm overdosing? Or is it having a fire extinguisher in case of a fire? I was like, what's going on? How do you just randomly have, overdosing spray with you, whatever? But when she later explained that, I guess in the area where she lives, prescription and drug use is heavy. I'm like, girl, the ghetto or the South? Well, no, is that the South? Is that not South? Because she lives... Is she in the Carolinas or the Virginias? Girl, I don't know. Either way go, it's drug addict city is where she at and whatnot. Okay, but anyway, she brings up again because a lot of people in her area has it. Again, if she runs into someone who was overdosing, she is trained in order to help them not overdose or whatever. I say, well, that was smart. Okay, that was cool. She then meets up with Corey, because she brings up how, she's had to talk with Jeremy about her book and her admitting about her drug use, but she never really had a conversation with Corey. Now, we do see the flashback scenes of Corey, asking her, are you wanting something, Leah? Because we knew that she was, okay? Even though she denied that she was. She brings up how, back then it was just hard for her to admit it and stuff or whatever. And, he said how, I didn't know the details back then, you know what I'm saying? But I can see the growth in you since then. Because her thing was you didn't know that I had to have maybe a C, whatever when she had the baby, the youngest baby, maybe she had a C-section or whatever, the pain pills they gave her from that is what she ended up getting addicted to. Again, as she said, you don't know the details of why I was hooked on the pills and whatnot. And his point was, well, okay, I didn't need the details, but I just knew something was wrong. We all knew something was wrong. We all said, she's clearly on pain pills or on some kind of drug. She just kept lying and just denying it because that's what addicts do or whatever. And she brings up how, I just wish you and your wife, would have provided me a safe space as an addict to talk about it, what was going on back then. And I'm like, but I think people knew something was wrong, gave her space to admit it, and when she would not admit it and they were just fed up with her denying it, it became just, a whole bunch of confusion or whatever. And he admits that back then, their support in her wanting to get help turn into anger just due to miscommunication and whatnot. But it's hard to communicate with a drug addict. Okay, so again, mistakes are made on both sides, but they both agree that currently their communication and co-parenting is great. And not 8 years ago, it was shitty. Anyway, and they did the whole kid exchange. Kale, the newborn cries. The other kids are doing virtual learning and everything. And Kale complains about having 4 kids and about having her kids in virtual learning or whatever. She brings up how her and V are starting a podcast called Baby Mama's No Drama. But when there's drama, will y'all change the name? Because we know with Kale, there's always a bit of drama or whatever. We see her venting to a friend on the phone about, and it sucks because, again, if you miss one button or whatever, submitting the work, it doesn't get submitted at all, and you won't know it until it's too late and all this, and it's just crazy. My nephew, who's a freshman in high school, had the same issue. He I submitted my work, and then it wasn't submitted, and I don't know until my teacher say I have an F, but I'm like, but I submitted it. So that has to be this a whole thing with the e-learning situation and whatnot. We're gonna leave that be. But we then see her and V the podcast. Joe was on too, and they talking about their co-parenting thing or whatever, and Kale brings up the reason that her and V are currently cool, and the reason she knew she had to get cool with V was because Joe mentioned how, like, if something was to happen to him, his fear would be that, his son and daughter would not grow up knowing each other because their moms are at odds. And Kale said that, helped her realize that she needs to, get into a different space with V, so that if something did happen to Joe, they would be cool enough to have the kids raised together. But what's wild to me is she isn't willing to have that same realization with Lauren, Javi's child's mom. And I feel like if Joe's saying that, raise your awareness of how you have to be mature enough to just at least tolerate V and then see where it goes from there, why can't you do that with Lauren? Because again, at the same time, if something happens to Javi, wouldn't you have to be okay with Lauren? And I don't think that Kale has to be as friendly with Lauren as she is with V. But I still feel like there should be a cordialness between y'all two in case something did happen to Javi. Because again, that means the siblings will always be able to, know each other and whatnot. We're going to leave that be. But I feel like her completely, acting as if I could never be cool with Lauren makes her a hypocrite. Because again, you can't say that you want your kids to grow and know each other and be cool with one mom and not be cool with the other. But I'm gonna leave that be too. Joe also complains about how aggravating e-learning is, whatever. He's like, I was on a Zoom call listening for like 12 minutes when Isaac was on a call, and it was like a 12-minute Zoom call where the teacher was just giving them the assignment. Like, it wasn't even teaching them anything. It was like, hey, okay, this is your assignment. Okay, gotta go, bye. And I'm like, girl, it's weird because it's not as if no one has ever had classes online, but I think an online college is different than the teacher who doesn't know how to teach online. But I want them to get better and whatnot. Jade. Now, even though the last episode Jade was so pissed at Sean and was over Sean and wanted Sean out of her house, he's still there. Now, they're not speaking to each other, barely or whatever, and they still fussing and arguing or whatever. And, she brings up how, she asked, they're in the house, and she's about to do, interviews or whatever. She's in the living room, he's, in the kitchen or whatnot. And then she said, hey, Sean, would you mind, going outside, just so I can do my interviews and whatnot, and I can be I can feel more free. Okay, I can feel more like I'm in private doing this and speaking openly, whatever. He bitching, why I gotta go outside? Why can't you can speak freely? You must want to talk about me. I'm looking like it don't matter what she wants to talk about. He's asking you to get the fuck out her house so she can do her job. Okay, the fact that he then argued with her about why he felt like he should not have to leave and she should be able to work with him in the house is the reason she should put his ass out. Okay, I'm gonna leave that be. Because he refuses to leave the house. He does go like in the room or whatever. Is this good enough? And she was like, no. So production has her get up and go outside to do her stuff, and then he does his shit inside. First of all, I would have burned the house down before I went outside to do my goddamn abuse. But that's just me, okay? I'm a bit crazy. Anyway, so, Sean is inside on the thing complaining about, I don't even have a side of things like when you guys aren't here. I don't have an opinion or whatever. And I feel as if, I don't know how to express how I feel without getting mad. He then gets up and walks away. Sean is gonna snap, okay? She need to get his ass out the house before he does. Anyway, Jade is outside, just basically complaining about how she don't know what to do about how bad things are with Sean and how he just don't want to do shit. But she's complaining and saying the exact same things she always says when her and Sean beefing. And then when they not beefing, she's okay with him not doing shit. You can't have it both ways, Jade. We then see a few hours later that Jade texted production that she broke up with Sean, and she said, we sat down, and I told him, I said, look, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, and there is no reason for you to be here, okay? If I'm not happy, and you ain't doing shit or whatnot, like, you ain't doing shit in life in general, and like, so you being here, like, doesn't help anything. And she brought up how he complains about how much she works. She's like, yeah, because I have to make money to pay the bills, bitch. You don't work. Okay, and at this point in time, not YouTube, but at this point in time, MTV don't pay the bills like that and whatnot. But I'm going to leave that be too. She brings up how, she just like, we can't be together and I can't be the one responsible to make sure that you have a place to live. I'm saying I'm okay with you being, Chloe's dad or whatever, and us co-parenting, but I can't be the one held responsible for you, okay? We then see a few days later, he's still living in the house because he has nowhere to go or whatever, and they still arguing, and he's still there. And, she brings up, I'm willing to co-parent with him, but only be civil. You need to get that bum out your house. If you don't, he will always be there and whatnot, okay? And lastly, Brianna. So, she's complaining about having 2 kids and having to be a parent. And she's mad because the daddies don't help her. I wish Devon would help more since he's not giving me, much money or whatever. I think Devon needs to get Nova and just have her for some days or whatever to see what it's like to have her 24/7. And she brings up, I have been really busy lately and whatever, and I have not had time to be hands-on with Nova. And so she needs to spend time with her dad. Because that's one less thing that she then has to deal with. I'm going to say this. We all know that Brianna has never really wanted him to get Nova like that. She only wants him to get Nova to give her a break. Because we've seen him want her and then Brianna not feel comfortable or whatever. Or the one time before when he had her, his ass got drunk and then she did not trust him with her. But again, it's just, where's Lewis? We're going to talk about Lewis. Anyway, her mom brings up how, because she's telling her mom how, I want him to get her like for 2 or 3 days overnight. And the mom, like, he has roommates. I'm saying you should not allow him to have her for days on end when his house can be like a frat house. I agree with his mama. Like, make sure that it's safe for her to be there around whoever it is that he have over there. Would not like have that conversation with him first. Like, what are the rules and the boundaries to be sure that whoever else you have there would not be too much around my daughter or whatnot. But anyway, I'm like, she says all of a sudden, she said to her mama, well, I don't need your opinion or whatever, my opinion, these are my kids, okay, you should just, agree with what I say. I'm like, oh, now all of a sudden, your mama's opinion don't matter because she don't agree with you. I'm going to leave that be. So we see her and Devon meet up. I'm overworked, Devon. I need a break from the kids, Devon. I'm saying I need you to help. Okay, with my off days is, whatever days he said. And she said, okay, well, how about you get her like on these 3 days in a row? Like, I bring her to you, you take her to school, pick her up, and all of that for 3 days. And then, that gives me a bit of a break. He said, cool. But she said, I'm going to make sure that Nova's okay with it too. He said, okay, as long as Nova's okay with it, I'm okay with it as well. So when she later on picked Nova up from wherever she was at, and she, hey babe, you're going to probably, possibly spend a few days at your dad's house. She's like, what you mean? What does it mean, mama? And like you will be over there. He'll take you to school, pick you up, like the whole shebang or whatever. I'm saying. But how do you feel? Be honest. Well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They blast loud music. I don't like that. Okay, well if they didn't blast loud music, would you then be okay being over there? I don't know. And she then said, I feel uncomfortable being the only girl there because at our house, there are no boys. And when I'm at Dad's house or whatever, she basically said his roommate makes me feel uncomfortable, even though, like, he's okay, but I'm not comfortable around him. And so, well, okay, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to go. I'm happy she said that. But I still feel like this is a fail on both Brianna and Devon. One, Devon, you should not have anybody else around your daughter. Period. Okay, I feel like you should be able to pick up on if she is uncomfortable around your roommate or whoever else lives in the house or whatever. But I also feel like Brianna not allowing Devon to get her enough to have her around whoever he's around that she doesn't feel uncomfortable. It's weird how they both shelter her. So I feel like they both need to get her comfortable being around other people, but also watch it when she says she's uncomfortable. I like that Brianna said, like, okay, you don't have to go if you don't want to. Like, she listened to Nova. Cool. So at the house, she brings up to her mom and the sister or whatever how Nova like does not want to be over there, whatever, and that she's uncomfortable going over there overnight. She's not uncomfortable over there in general, just overnight visits or whatever. Nova then kind of elaborates and brings up how I don't like that the roommate just walks into the room where I'm with my dad. Like he just walks in or whatever. She also brings up how she be aware that he be high. I'm like, how does she know about being high? But I guess kids do. And so she brings up how she just wants to spend time with her dad and not her dad and the roommate or whatnot. So I'm like, again, Devon needs to have clear-cut time when, hey, bro, when my daughter here, don't come in my room. Or whatever space he is. If he's in the bedroom, don't come in here. I mean, the living room or the kitchen, that's, communal space or whatnot. But, like, if my daughter here and we in my room, don't come in here. Like, that's my boundary, whatever. So, Devon needs to clearly make that a point. And Brianna needs to effectively communicate to Devon what makes her uncomfortable. Don't just say it's the dude. Just say she isn't okay with him like just coming in there with y'all. Like she wants to spend time with just you. You know what I'm saying? Do that or whatnot. And then, Brianna brings up how it's a good thing for you to spend time with your dad, which Nova don't mind or whatever. And that they're saying that Stella then say, I don't like my dad. I'm looking like, ain't she like 2? Maybe she's 3. I don't like my dad. I like Devon. I'm looking like she's like 3. That's crazy. And then, Brianna, I feel bad because she's only 3. And, for her to realize that she doesn't like her father, like I feel like it's my own fault because I grew up without a father. And looking at my kids, I see myself. We do too. Okay, we see it's a whole cycle of missing fathers or whatnot. But hopefully she fixes it. She called Lewis and make him do some shit and whatnot. Anyway, that's it. That was a whole episode. I'm done. Peace.